In the heart of Taipei stands the Jiji, a mythical goat-like creature that can distinguish right and wrong and is a symbol of justice. This Jiji stands outside the Renai Detention Center as part of the Jing Mei Museum, which also has preserved the courts and barracks that once housed political prisoners. Today it stands quiet, but only 40 years ago it bustled with activity. The Renai serves as a memorial to those that walked in the halls. Rows and rows of turquoise green cells layer the hallways under the watchful eyes of Big Brother and sharp edges of barbed wire. Its emptiness consumes me. The echo of my footsteps, quiet only to step in each cell and try to imagine. What I imagine is inconceivable. I am able to walk freely out of the prison, visit the bookshop, transverse Uber to get to my hotel, and go to a baseball game. Yet for countless seconds, prisoners were huddled in the cells, stopping up toilets to get water to bathe and hoping for visitors. The hallways are quiet now, yet the memory of white terror still cuts through the humidity and the years to reverberate around the cities, the country, and the world. It can be said that white terror started here, at a random street corner by a random cigarette seller. Unemployment was rampant the years after World War II, and now an influx of Chinese, aligned with the losing Kuomintang or KMT, were tamping down on ways to make a living. On February 27, 1947, an old woman was doing just that, trying to make a living by selling loose cigarettes. The inquisitors started harassing her, and a group of supporters surrounded her. The police drew their weapons, shots rang out in the night, and when the dust settled, someone had been killed. The next day, uprisings all over the island against the occupying force began, and so did the firing back against them. White terror and martial law had begun. This monument commemorates the spot that it all began. Today, the place is only identified by a plaque explaining what happened there. If you don't stop to read it, you will miss it. What came next was a violent suppression known as the White Terror. Taiwan came under martial law by Chiang Kai-shek, the head of the KMT. People started disappearing for simply checking out a book at the library that was thought to be communist. Brutal laws were passed checking people's human rights. Green Island was open to house more political prisoners. So was Renai. But the 1979 Kaohsiung incident changed everything. People were arrested. They were charged and put on trial here. But unlike the countless other trials, this one went global. The awareness began to take hold. No longer could the United States turn a blind eye. Senators sent letters questioning the government. Cameras filled the courtroom. The world now knew what was happening. Pressure began to mount through political protests all around the island and the world. But that wasn't the only thing changing. The identity of the people that inhabit the island was also changing, thanks in part to Subang's Taiwan's 400-year history. The idea of being indigenous, Chinese, or Japanese gave way to something new, being Taiwanese. And with that came the end of martial law in 1987 and the release of political prisoners in 1992 from the Renai Detention Center. The first democratically elected president of Taiwan was in 1996, and the first idea that the people of the White Terror would not be left to rot in history began. Instead of letting the White Terror be lost in time, Taiwan began to preserve it to learn from it. Thousands of victims of the White Terror were able to gain reparations. A monument in the Jing Mei campus lists the names of the people arrested, tortured, and even killed during the martial law. But just naming them isn't enough. There are also their stories online to read. How Taiwan has chosen to remember serves as a guide for the world after the throes of authoritarianism. To remember is to choose to learn and to move forward. Yet for preservation of Jing Mei Detention Center in Green Island, there are many more sites of the inhumane arrests, tortures, and confinements. Taiwan has chosen to only learn and remember 2 of them under the National Human Rights Museum guise. What else is out there that needs to not be forgotten? With the changing of the world and politics aligning in new ways, will it always be in fashion to remember? And more importantly, in this time, how can we forget?